Let's talk about how much it costs to take care of a cat in 2025. I just finished putting together my end of the year reports for 2024, and one of the things that I have to do is keep track of all of the money that I spent throughout the year and keep track of what I spent it on. So I have the grand totals for all of my cat-related expenses, and those are the numbers that I will be using for this video. I've broken the numbers down to monthly and daily amounts. If someone's new to this channel, I have 11 cats, and they are all rescued feral cats. The first group I rescued in 2016 through 2017, and they are a family of 4. And the second group I rescued in the fall of 2022, and they are a family of 7. All of the cats were rescued from my yard, and I live next to a large wooded area, and that's where all of the cats came from. The first thing that I would like to say is that it's very expensive to take care of 11 cats. If you watch the daily vlogs on this channel, you know that I work a lot. Looking back at 2024, I feel like all I did all year was work, and I was absolutely exhausted by the end of the year, which is why I took the past 2 weeks off from posting videos. I just needed some time to relax. But now it's a new year, and I'm back, and this is a question that I've gotten quite a few times, so let's talk about it. For 2024, I had my cat-related expenses broken down into 2 main categories. Pet food and supplies was one category, and the other category was vet and health-related expenses. So let's talk about the pet food and supplies. This category includes homemade raw cat food, commercial raw cat food, canned cat food, dry cat food, cat treats, cat litter, cat toys, cat furniture, and any other supplies that I need for the cats throughout the year. With regards to cat food that I feed my cats, about 80% of their diet is homemade raw cat food, and the rest is higher quality canned food or higher quality dry food. I'm mentioning that because I'm not buying the cheapest food that I can for them. I'd rather buy higher quality food and hopefully spend less money at the vet. And one of the reasons why I make my own cat food is because it is much cheaper for me to do that than buying comparable quality food. So it definitely helps me save money. Also, where I am in New Jersey has one of the highest costs of living in the entire country. We are one of the top 10 most expensive states to live in, and the county that I'm in, which is Bergen County, is the second most expensive county in the state. So depending on where you live, prices and costs could be much lower. I'm basing this video on what I pay living in one of the most expensive counties in one of the most expensive states. So the cost per cat per month for pet food and all supplies is $120. That comes out to $4 per cat per day, which I don't think is very bad considering that includes all of their food, litter, and supplies. Nowadays, that's less than a cup of coffee in many places. I'd much rather spend $4 to care for a cat for a day than to spend that money on a caffeinated beverage. But that's just me. Anyway, here's where it gets really expensive. We have to do some math because I have 11 cats. So let's take $4 per cat per day and times that by 11. And that comes out to $44 a day for the cats. Now let's take that and multiply it by 30 because there are about 30 days in a month. And that costs $1,320 a month to take care of 11 cats. That includes all pet food and all supplies. That's a lot of money. That's like a mortgage payment or what some people pay for rent, depending on where you live. But that was just one of the expense categories. The other expense category was vets and health-related supplies. So let's look at how much that costs per month. That cost me $300 a month in 2024. And that was for 11 cats. It was about $3,600 for the year. So if we divide that by 11, it's about $27 per cat per month which is roughly $1 a day per cat. And that's for vet expenses and health-related expenses. That figure is based on all of my actual costs throughout an entire year. That included 3 or 4 vet checkups, 1 with blood tests and x-rays, a trip to the emergency room with blood tests, and a major dental cleaning with 4 teeth extracted. So considering it included all of that, I don't think the costs were actually too bad. So now let's talk about the grand totals. It costs $4 per cat per day for pet food and supplies, and about $1 per cat per day for vet care. So that's $5 per cat per day, which includes everything. And that brings it up to about $150 per cat per month. So this will give you a rough estimate of how much it costs to have a cat in 2025. And that includes everything. All food, all litter, all toys, all treats, all vet bills, all supplies, everything. Now, that being said, if I have a month where the actual costs are lower than that, I still have to put aside the money that makes up the difference so that when a vet appointment occurs or a major purchase is necessary, the money is there for that in a savings account or an emergency fund. So for example, if this month I'm only spending $100 per cat, those are my actual expenses, I need to take the $50 difference and I need to put that aside for a future date where I might have to take a cat to an emergency room and I might need the money for that. Or I might need to buy a new $200 cat tower and I might need the money for that. So that's why it's really important to have a budget for the cats and also a separate bank account for them. If you're watching this video and you don't have a separate bank account or emergency fund set up for your pets, I highly recommend starting one. It makes keeping track of expenses so much easier, especially when it comes to being prepared for vet visits. So now that we've established that it costs $150 a month to have a cat in 2025, and that's the all-in number including vet expenses, let's take that number and multiply it by 11. That comes out to $1,650 a month. It is very expensive to have 11 cats. Again, that's like a mortgage payment or monthly rent. And in order for me to afford that, I make sure that I stick to a budget and I have a separate budget just for the cats. And what I'll do is I'll make another video about budgeting for pets and how I do that. But for this video, I just wanted to talk about how much it costs to have a cat, since I know there are many people thinking about getting a pet and are unsure if it is something that they can do financially. At the end of the day or the end of the month, it really comes down to how you choose to spend your money. Do you want to spend $5 a day on a fancy coffee or $5 caring for a cat? Do you want to spend $10 on fast food or eat at home instead and use the difference to care for a cat? I know many people who go out to a restaurant once a week and drop $40 or $50 on dinner. That's more than enough to care for a cat for a week. Once you start keeping track of your spending and realize what exactly you are spending your money on, it can often be easy to find areas where you can cut back on your spending to save some extra money to use for cat care. That being said, there are some people whose budgets are just spread way too thin, and I would not suggest that they get a cat. But for a lot of people who are unsure if they could afford a pet, if they start really looking at their finances, they can very often find areas where they could save money or cut back on spending to be able to afford the pet. So if you're thinking about getting a cat, but if you don't think you can afford it, see if you can put aside $5 a day. And after 20 days, or when you have $100 put aside, open up a bank account with that money and keep putting aside $5 a day or $150 a month. Or if you want to do it weekly, put aside like $35 or $40 a week. And if you can do that, you can afford a cat in 2025. And chances are very good that you live somewhere where the cost of living is lower than it is here in Bergen County, New Jersey. It might only be $3 a day or $4 a day. Again, the numbers I'm using in this video are based on one of the most expensive counties in one of the most expensive states in the entire country. So keep that in mind. I hope this information was helpful for you, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, especially if you'd like to see a video about budgeting for pet parents. Thank you for watching this Lucky Ferals video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you'd like me to post more videos, and please make sure to check out these other videos that were selected especially for you.